Hi, I'm astrologer and life coach Penny Dix. Welcome to my YouTube channel and welcome mostly to my in-depth, ultimate guide to my astrological interpretation of how to navigate the perhaps sometimes choppy and rough seas of 2024. At times, it'll be like going round Cape Horn, where you have these two mighty oceans meeting. There is no land on either side. You have the Pacific and you have the Atlantic, and nothing in between. And for a sailor, a captain of his ship, to navigate around Cape Horn, he will certainly use the stars because, that's how the cosmos works. It helps us navigate our way when there are no obvious signposts. Interesting thought, eh? So let's dive into the astrology, because I'm going to go very briefly through each month, but only spend time on 3 or 4 of the important events. Okay, so let's have a look at January, because in a sense, January is going to be the start of the time when we have to think that we are preparing the way for what can unfold for us in this coming year. We have a new moon in Capricorn at the beginning of the year on the 11th. And Mercury in Capricorn, that has been retrograde from the end of the year, actually goes direct on the 2nd of January, and that is going to be very helpful. And it's also quite symbolic for how we can expect the year to unfold. So with Mercury going direct at the beginning of the year, this is like a helpful signpost that communication can perhaps be a little bit easier than we had hoped. Because through December, there have been a few interesting twists and turns and challenges along with Mercury retrograde. And so Mercury going direct on the 2nd is particularly helpful. So as I said, we have a new moon in Capricorn on the 11th, and then the full moon is on the 25th in Leo. The most important part of January, and the most important point really for the whole of 2024, is about the planet Pluto, my big dwarf planet. It's a bit of a misnomer really, isn't it? And Pluto is a planet, but it's a dwarf planet. It's out there in the Kuiper Belt, way, way, way out in our solar system. And Pluto hasn't been in Aquarius for over 247 years. And America, which you will have heard me talk about at times, of course, is going through what's known as its Pluto return. And with America having its elections in 2024, then the fact that Pluto moves into Aquarius can be hugely significant for all the players in that event. But I will come to that a little bit later in this video. So on the 21st of January, Pluto will move into Aquarius from Capricorn. And as it moves in, the sun in Aquarius will be conjunct Pluto. You know, the sun is our life giver. The sun is it kind of represents our soul, our heart. Some of you will know I often talk about the importance of us giving importance to our heart. That amazing muscle that without it, we wouldn't be living. And it's the same with the sun. The sun rules Leo. Leo rules the heart. So the sun is the heart, the beating heart of our solar system. And here it is, conjunct Pluto, as if it's heralding. And actually, for me, it's giving a good feeling to Pluto moving into those first early degrees of Aquarius. Now, the other thing that is significant in January is about Uranus. Uranus, my big outer boy of surprise, the unexpected, freedom, rebellion, technology. Uranus rules Aquarius, where Pluto has just edged into. So there's a lot of energy that is kind of building up to be in some way kind of symbolic. Uranus goes direct in Taurus on the 27th of January. It's been retrograde for some time, and Uranus is still a big player this year, 2024, in how we are going to be affected in our lives. Yes, we are going to be affected through technology, because Pluto's move into Aquarius is the sign of AI and technology. That is going to be huge headlines. You've already seen it on social media, on the news. AI is a beast that in many ways we have to learn how to master to avoid it mastering us. So Uranus going direct in Taurus on the 27th, I think because Taurus is an earth sign, because Taurus is also about the economy, we may see things unfolding on the world stage that give a boost in an unexpected way to the economy through Uranus's process and progress in a direct motion towards where it will actually make a wonderful, amazing conjunction with Jupiter later on in 2024, and I'll come to that shortly. But what about February? Because February, well, Mars, our planet of action, energy, assertion, aggression, sexuality. Mars, the masculine, the divine masculine, you could say. Because we don't often think about the masculine as being in its divinity status. We all talk about the divine feminine and the rise of the divine feminine, and in no way am I saying that that is not relevant in many ways, but I think that we have to have the yin-yang balance. This is so super important. Mars is conjunct Pluto, remember, in Aquarius. Guess what? 14th of February, Valentine's Day. Well, that could be, it could be a very passionate day for many of you. Many of you could make commitments that perhaps you never thought would happen. And there's certainly a lot of energy and excitement building around this time, because a few days later on the 17th, Venus, backing up the divine feminine, is also conjunct Pluto on the 17th in Aquarius. So Aquarius is in the spotlight at the beginning of the year, because also in February, of course, the new moon is in Aquarius on the 9th. The full moon is in Virgo on the 24th. And also, of course, our planet of communication, Mercury, guess what? That is also conjunct Pluto on the 5th. So we've got Mercury, Mars, Venus, all taking it in turns to almost greet Pluto, welcome Pluto into this life-changing sign of Aquarius. All of you expect change this year. But I'm not necessarily talking about change in the external world, although there will be plenty of that, both on an individual level and on a collective scale that I don't think we can even begin to imagine at this point. But Mercury, Mars, and Venus are bringing in these elements, these qualities of the personal, of our personalities, and of Pluto's ability to transform that inner part of us. I think that with Pluto's move into Aquarius, there is going to be this amazing sense of awakening for many people, as if we've all been walking around in some kind of dream, realizing we've just been doing as we're told and not being individual and assertive. The thing is, we have to go through a process of finding our individuality and then actually joining with the whole. Because the whole ultimately is what we have come from and what we need to be able to be part of, and simultaneously be aware of our own individual selves and our own individual characters and personalities, talents, abilities. The awareness in consciousness for many people this year is going to be extraordinary. The experiences of kind of other frequencies, energies, vibrations, many more people will feel that they can tune into spirit, for example. And it's just going to be a very awe-inspiring year. Let's move on to March, because I'm absolutely itching to get to April when all the action happens. But March, well, we have a lunar eclipse on the 25th in Libra. So that will be a full moon lunar eclipse. And of course, we've also got the spring equinox when the sun enters Aries on the 19th. So March is fairly kind of going along with everyday life, nothing particularly out of the ordinary, except, there's always an exception, isn't there? Mars in Aquarius, Mars, our planet of energy, assertion, action. Also remember fighting, aggression. Mars is the god of war, rules Aries. Mars in Aquarius, Aquarius we could say is the god of technology, is squaring Uranus, its ruler, in Taurus on the 9th of March. Expect things to be happening in the news that probably bring people out onto the streets protesting. There may be more trouble in the troubled areas of the planet. I'm not going to be specific today about anywhere because we can't possibly know. I can just know from the astrological energies that we are heading towards a time in March where there can be quite a lot of disturbance and aggression and assertiveness, and people actually, that it feels like there's fractures and structures breaking down. And of course, structure does have to break down before we can rebuild the new, which has been part of what Pluto was trying to do in Capricorn. And I don't know in 2024 whether Pluto will have achieved all it set out to do in Capricorn. But here it is, and here we are. But now I'm going to move on to April, because April 2024 is a big, big month. Why is this? Well, first of all, Mercury goes retrograde again. So Mercury, remember, is our planet of communication, ideas, thought. Goes retrograde in Aries on the 1st of April. But you know, retrogrades can be about revisiting, re-looking at, renewing. Aries is the first sign of the Zodiac. Aries is about new beginnings. Maybe it's about second chances, second opportunities at something you thought couldn't manifest, couldn't happen. So don't be disheartened by this Mercury retrograde. Now, my wonderful tech guy, Jerry Tech, we could call him, is going to make a wonderful chart appear above my hands. And this chart is for the total solar eclipse on the 8th of April, 2024. And the reason I bring this chart up is because, my goodness, look at that 5th, 6th, 7th house. So the first house, remember, you've got the line across the middle. That's like, you could say, the equator. The top half is like the top part of the sky above us. The bottom half is like the sky underneath the planet. And this new moon total solar eclipse is going to be visible in the west of Europe, North America, and in South America, the north of South America, the Pacific, the Atlantic, and the Arctic. Whoa, that's going to be quite big stuff. This is a life-changing new moon. I mean, if I look at the energies in the chart, we have Mercury, our planet of communication, conjunct this new moon. This is a new moon in Aries, very much about new ideas, new ways forward, new ways to solve old problems. Chiron, our space object, he's not an asteroid, you know, because he is part of the Centaurians. And this is a group of space objects that are known as the Centaurs. and Chiron is the chief centaur. So he's not an asteroid, but what he is the wounded healer. And of course, Chiron, as we know, represents the wounds that we carry around. And you know, I've said before, but I am going to say it again for the benefit of anyone watching who's not watched any of my work before. You know, we probably experience our first trauma when we're only a few weeks old, because no mother or father will get it right with baby. However good the parents are, let alone parents that really don't care. So no parent gets it right. And at some point, baby breaks down. You know, when you see babies crying uncontrollably, and the mother or the father or the caregiver doesn't know how to console the baby. It's because for baby, the sun, you know, the new moon, the sun in this total solar eclipse is its core, its soul, its life. Baby is the center of its universe. So if its needs aren't met through no fault of its own, and sometimes through no fault of the most caring parent, baby experiences its first trauma. If you want to find out more about parent-child experiences from sort of like 0 to a year, read the works of Melanie Klein. The work she did in psychoanalysis was invaluable. So what I'm saying is Chiron, to come back to the astrology, is that part of us that carries that first trauma. Chiron is conjunct this eclipse and Mercury. What you have to do with this energy, be really brave. This is big boy and big girl and big human pants are on. This is, deep breath. Say it how it is. Say how it feels if you're hurt or you're hurting. Don't cover up these wounds, because they won't heal if you don't show them to another, because sometimes the other person, whoever it is, doesn't even realize that what they do or say has such an effect on you. And if we don't tell them, they don't know. So there's something revelationary about this new moon total solar eclipse. Now, if you look at the chart, you'll see that Neptune, transiting Neptune in Pisces, is conjunct Venus, our planet of love and relationship. Saturn, my big outer boy Saturn in Pisces. Whoa, Saturn is going to teach us some wonderful lessons in my oceans of emotions this year. Saturn is conjunct Mars, the planet of assertion and aggression. So what Saturn is doing is saying, whoa, slow down. Think before you speak, because we've got the players are Mercury. This is about hidden wounds. Neptune, not seeing things clearly. Uranus is already coming up to be conjunct Jupiter. That's a biggie, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. And so, you know, this is quite an eclipse, but so rich in that potential. Look at that energy all on one side of the chart. It kind of gives us a springboard to, it's like a build-up of an orchestra. It's like we're building up to get to this crescendo. And all the 4 quadrants of this chart, if you notice, are cardinal. They are about initiating new things. But remember, later this year in April, I will do a separate video all about this new moon total solar eclipse and how it affects each individual zodiac sign. Now, at this point, the lovely techie Jerry is going to make the chart disappear. Just like that. And then we're going to have, because there is also going to be a very big conjunction, which doesn't often happen. And this is, and now, techie Jerry, I need the chart of Jupiter conjunct Uranus. And there it is, I hope. Poor Jerry, techie Jerry, he has to sit through all of this video and he'll be thinking, oh God, when does she get to the bit where we put the chart up? Can I really fast forward it? Do I have to listen to her? Bless him, he does. I but jest. Well, there's a little bit of seriousness there. But what is important about Jupiter, my big outer boy of luck, opportunity, expansion, growth? Oh, Jupiter gets us up to those high frequencies and energies of the kind of conscious awareness that can come through Pluto's move into Aquarius. And look how the energy is now bunched in the lower part of the chart, which is really interesting because what this tells us is this is very much something that is going to be happening on an internal level. So Uranus, our planet of the unexpected, freedom, of breaking through something, of that sudden crystalline awareness of knowing something like you never knew it before. This, and remember, it's in Taurus. So Taurus, of course, is our sign of luxury, of earth, of groundbreaking discoveries. Maybe that's something that will come with this energy, because it is in the 3rd house of communication. And Aquarius, that Uranus rules, is on the ascendant. So there could be something about groundbreaking breakthroughs that come with Jupiter conjunct Uranus. There can also be, which we don't want to invite in, but nevertheless, there are possibilities of that, literally earth-shaking events. Now, that can be literally in the form of earthquakes, but it could also be that there are earth-shaking events. Events that kind of we go, whoa, didn't see that one coming. And, you know, if I look at the aspects on this chart, Pluto in the early degrees of Aquarius is trining the moon. That's really helpful. That's transformative for our intuitive feelings. But it's squaring the sun. So it's saying, don't get carried away. We mustn't get too inflated because we have a wonderful aha moment. We've got to still stay grounded. Remember, both these planets, Jupiter and Uranus, are in Taurus. And what else have we got going on in this chart? Well, I think the other significant aspect is actually about Venus conjunct Mercury, because they're conjunct in Aries, and Mercury, Venus and Chiron really are conjunct. There is something about, do you know what I feel? And I think maybe I have to do this. It's just coming to me now. And I'm recording this on Sunday, the 26th of November. And the current time as I'm recording this is 3 o'clock Central European time. But there's something about this Mercury, Venus and Chiron on the day that Jupiter conjuncts Uranus. This is about doing a mass healing meditation. Remember, I did one for 11/11, and you know, at 11/11 on 11/11, and that was pretty powerful. And I know a lot of you were very moved by the experience, including myself. As you remember, I was just shaking from head to foot. So maybe that would be a good use of this energy, and something all of you could think of doing with this energy. But I think I will do I will do a live stream this day. What day is it? Oh, it's a Sunday. Oh, that's okay. So that'll be easy, and a lot of you will be around. So Jerry's now going to magically make the chart disappear. Poof. Thank you, Techie Jerry. And what do we want to look at next? Because in May, Pluto will go retrograde on the 2nd, because it's doing a bit of a dance at the moment with Pluto and Capricorn. And the other major thing that's happening in May is that Jupiter, that's been conjunct Uranus, says goodbye to Taurus. So make the most of Jupiter in Taurus through the first 5 months of this year, to encourage and bring in abundance to your life. Because once Jupiter enters Gemini on the 25th of May, it moves into an air sign, an immutable sign. It's fire, it's a bit combustible. There could be people getting a bit hot under the collar. We could be getting crazy thoughts and sort of overinflated thoughts. So we're really going to have to look at ways we can ground ourselves whilst Jupiter moves through the sign of Gemini. So let's move on to June, because in June, Jupiter, my big outer boy of expansion, luck and opportunity, newly arrived in Gemini, will make a lovely trine aspect to Pluto in Aquarius. That's on the 2nd of June. And that will be helpful. And Pluto at this point hasn't moved back into Capricorn, but it does. It does dip its toes back into Capricorn. If we move on to July, the most significant event in July is Mars, our planet of energy, action, assertion, war and aggression, conjunct Uranus in Taurus, July 15th. Oh, be careful that day. If you don't have to go out, don't. If you do have to go out and you're driving, be careful. If you have to use public transport, be careful. Stay away from public areas on that day. Who knows what might be going on in the news, but it's just a heads up. Be careful on July the 15th. Then we move on to August. And Jupiter in Gemini will be squaring Saturn in Pisces on the 19th of August. And this square will be Saturn saying, Jupiter, hey guy in Gemini, will you slow down a bit? Will you stop adding kind of fuel to all this kind of combustible ideas and thoughts? Can we get a little bit more down to earth with our thinking? Because it could be that there's a lot of us getting a little bit carried away with our thinking at that time. Now, in September, after the 2nd of September, Pluto slips back into Capricorn, but not for long. But this is like a final meeting with Capricorn. None of us will ever experience this in our lifetimes again. None of us. In fact, none of us have ever experienced Pluto at this degree or Pluto moving into Aquarius. This is big stuff in 2024. So Pluto moves into Capricorn to tidy up. Who knows what's happening on the world stage? Who knows what's been happening in the hotspots of 2023? Ukraine, some parts of Eastern Europe where things might have spilled over into. What will have happened to all the various world leaders? Will they still be in charge of the countries they've been in charge of? You know, because there could be a lot of change this year that is completely unexpected with that Uranus energy still in Taurus. It reminds me of that phrase, heads will roll. And I think we will have reached a time collectively where we will not take any more of the kind of difficulty and narcissistic, misogynistic governing that many governments are projecting on the populace. Let's put it that way. Let's keep it kind of clean. There's a lunar eclipse in September in Pisces, my ocean of emotion, on the 17th, as those nodes edge towards the Pisces-Virgo axis. But remember, that's not going to happen until 2025. Then we need to look at October, because now we've got a build-up of energy again. A solar eclipse, new moon solar eclipse in Libra on the 2nd of October. Bringing a bit of balance in, a bit of sense, common sense, legality, something happening in the law court, something being addressed. And Pluto goes direct on the 11th of October in Capricorn. Now, what will be happening at that time? It's like Pluto's going, I'm done. I'm done with trying to get everybody to wake up and realize they have to change the way they have been governing all their countries, running their companies, running their conglomerates, running their families. It's time for change, big change. November, we're getting closer and closer to when the main event of the year happens. And at this point, Techie Jerry is going to make my final chart appear like that, which is Pluto's move into Aquarius on the 19th of November. Wow. Oh my God, is this big? This is just massive. I cannot tell you how important this shift is. And what else is happening in November? The American elections. Or are they? We don't know. We don't know if any of these things are certain just because they're written on the calendar or in the diary. It's like the UK are expected to have an election in 2024. But who knows? And if they do, who knows if it's a good thing or a bad thing? Let's just say they have an election and it may not turn out the way anyone expects. And the same could be said for the United States. Whoever gets in power, assuming the election goes ahead, who knows if it's a good thing or a bad thing? Because we're all too quick to judge. And one of the things that we could learn and practice during 2024 is to not judge, to be the observer of what is going on, and allow the signs that come along, the signposts. Let's bring ourselves back to that point on Cape Horn where the Pacific and the Atlantic, these two massive oceans, meet like my oceans of emotions. So what of the transits on the point of Pluto's move into Aquarius? Well, interestingly, Pluto is in the 7th house, the house of relationship. Is this a chance for us to transform our relationships? But you know what? Also our relationship with ourselves, our self-worth, our value, and actually to start valuing each other. Because over the last year or so, last few years, it's like human life has no value. When are we going to stop and recognize that human life is the most magical, incredible, amazing miracle that we need to celebrate and value and look after? And I do feel that Pluto's move into Aquarius can help transform society's overview of humanity to a more cohesive and a more connected way of relating. Again, the quadrants of this chart, if you've noticed, are all cardinal. This move of Pluto into Aquarius is a good thing. Although maybe we could say, like I said about the elections just now, who knows if it's a good thing or a bad thing? Let's just say Pluto is moving into Aquarius. And there we go. And here we are. The nodes, interestingly, in this chart, and I've chosen Pluto, as you'll see, at the anaretic degree of Capricorn. And remember, when a planet leaves a sign for good, it gives us a gift. It might be a gift that teaches us something. It might be a gift of surprise, of awakening, of awareness. But it always gives something. But look at those nodes, the North Node in the 9th house, the part of the chart that is about our soul's journey, conjunct the MC. we are going to, well, we are actually, over the next 20 years, we're going to be connecting much more with the cosmos. And yeah, go on, I'll make a prediction. I think we will discover that, of course, there are other forms of life in the universe, not necessarily within easy reach of planet Earth. And maybe that's a good thing. And it may not be like we've seen on Star Trek or Star Wars, but we need to protect ourselves. We need to learn how to cope with the solar flares that come from our heart of our solar system, our sun. We need to learn how to cope with the cosmic kind of plasma rays that are starting to be noticed by scientists coming through our kind of stratosphere into the atmosphere. There's a lot we are going to learn over the next 20 years. I hope I'm around to see it. I really do. But at 68, can I make it to 88? Oh, I'm going to do my best. My mother made it to 89, so I guess there's hope. Now, at this point, this wonderful chart from Techie Jerry, Pluto in Aquarius, will disappear. Thank you, Jerry. You're a star. He is actually. He's amazing. I don't know what I'd do without him. Well, I probably wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. I'm just going to finish off with just talking a little bit about December, because there are one or two important points about December. First of all, we've got Mars going retrograde. So remember, Mars, our planet of action, energy, sexuality, the divine masculine, is going retrograde in Leo on the 6th of December. Now, remember what I've said before about retrograde planets. They give us a chance to slow down, to relook, revisit, review, reassess, renew, redraw. So don't see it as a negative. Now, Mercury went retrograde in Sagittarius on the 26th of November, soon after Pluto's move into Aquarius. So Mercury, our planet of communication, is also building up to kind of slow us down a bit for 2024's December build up to the Christmas season. There will have been so many changes worldwide. You think that 2023 has been difficult. You ain't seen nothing yet. I'm not saying 2024 is going to be difficult. It's going to be very different. It's going to be challenging. And I think we are being asked by the cosmos to really, really gird our loins, as they used to say in medieval times, and actually grow up. We need to stop being lazy people sitting around being fed by the media and start using our brains. That's what they're there for, to be used, our consciousness. And Mars retrograde in Leo is an interesting one because it doesn't go direct in Cancer till the 24th of February 2025. So we have it retrograde for a couple of months. So we start off 2025 with quite a feeling of slowdown and as if it's difficult to get ourselves in gear. And Mercury goes direct in Sagittarius on the 15th of December. So the actual kind of Christmas slowdown period of 2024, I think, will be fairly low key. Jupiter still in Gemini. Remember, my big boy Jupiter, the planet of expansion, luck and opportunity in Gemini, squares Saturn in Pisces, my oceans of emotions, on Christmas Eve, the 24th of December. Try and curb your excitement, because I think there could be things going on collectively that we're getting rather overexcited about. And what I feel Saturn is doing is saying, just slow down. Because, you know, if you cook meat, the slower you cook it, and I'm sorry to vegetarians, this sounds awful, but this is a fact. Anything you cook, if you slow cook a meal, the flavors will be much better. The end result will be better. You know, that could be a metaphor as well for 2024. Be a slow cooker. Observe. Be the observer. Be the light bringer. Be the giver of love. Be the awareness of your beating heart, your soul. Be respectful to your physical body and be so grateful that we're here. On that note, I'm going to bring this 2024 ultimate overview to a close. You will find all your individual zodiac signs linked to this video ultimately. If not, when you first watch it, they will be as I record them and Techie Jerry uploads them. And also, what do I say at the end? Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to everyone for the whole of 2023 and all your amazing support. You have no idea how much it means. And thank you for being my friends, because all of you are my friends. But in the meantime, I would still love it if you can subscribe, if you're not already subscribed, if you can like, if you can share the video, comment, let me know how you're viewing 2024. I'll probably do a live about this as well, because that's what I tend to do. But this is the pre-recorded ultimate overview coming to a close and coming to a device near you very soon. So take care and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.